there's no truth to find. Eyes are watching without mind. Walked away for words we say, names forgotten night and day. Natural town was crushed on dreams, voices hidden in the sheen. Freedom's lost inside control, empty thoughts swallow the soul. Can't speak, feel the pain in these shackles, silent chains. Names are gone, heart betrayed. Darkness falls, never fades. Guards are lurking, shadows deep. Voices whisper, secrets keep. Hope is fading in the night. Screams are prison in plain sight. They control, laughter scream. Punish hope, steal the dream. No more light in this cage. Only silence, only rage. Can't speak, feel the pain in these shackles, silent chains. Names are gone, heart betrayed. Darkness falls, never fades. Can't speak, feel the pain in these shackles, silent chains. Names are gone, heart betrayed. Darkness falls, never fades. Can't speak. Never fades. Darkness falls, never fades. Can't speak, feel the pain in these shackles, silent chains. Memes are gone, heart betrayed. Darkness falls, never fades. Can't speak, feel the pain in these shackles, silent chains. Memes are gone, heart betrayed. Darkness falls, never fades. Can't speak, feel the pain in these shackles, silent chains. Memes are gone, heart betrayed. Darkness falls, never fades. Can't speak.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah,
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe.
so I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop up. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo.
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe.
So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know
Oh, that was a false start. Fat finger pushed the wrong button, comrade Ed. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. We're here again.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I last saw you.
Yeah, I know. Just like all 24 hours of it.
Right, new names in the chat tonight again. Robin Hood.
Awesome.
Cool. Beats and
Welcome,
Tapes,
new
Dread Eye
people.
Julie, Brit Mite. Who else we got? Who else? Nectaridus. One to read, one to write, and one to keep an eye on the two intellectuals. Indeed. We used to go about in threes as well when I first started working in Kilwinning. Two to go to the call and one to watch the car.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And Amy in Dystopia. Well, I think we're all in Dystopia now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. The whole country's, I mean, it's getting more dystopian by the day. I just can't believe that they're trying to get away with it. And I can't believe that there's people cheering them on, which is just even worse. And I feel like everyone who voted for Labour owes the whole bloody country an apology at this point.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think they realised. Despite us telling them what it would be like, I don't think they realised just how bad Keith was going to be.
I mean, well, to be honest, in fairness to them, I didn't realise how bad the bastard was going to be. I mean,
yeah.
He's exceeded my expectations. I think it's those dark glasses. I think there's some sort of witchcraft or some shit going on.
There'll be ones with speakers on them so these overlords can speak.
Well, that's what I was thinking. He's getting. I mean, it just. But he's also I mean, obviously bought and paid for. But I think he's actually a believer in the whole Klaus Schwab.
Oh, I think he's a believer in communism.
Vision.
He's a firm believer in communism, and I think that's where he wants to try and go. I think he might even be a bit more extreme than the whole global cabal thing.
Well, it's certainly looking that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I struggle to understand how anyone could look at the abject failure that is every single communist society that has ever tried to make communism work. Even it's like the Chinese are the only ones who've made communism work, and they're not at all communist anymore.
Yeah, but they only started making communism work once they started capitalism, didn't they? Really?
Yeah. Absolutely. Now they're doing capitalism better than anyone else because, I mean, fundamentally, capitalism is not what we think it is, which is banks raping everyone all the time.
Yeah.
And low-paying service industries and stuff. I mean, capitalism is the way that the Chinese and the Russians are doing it. And I mean, obviously, capital has to work in support of a society. You can't just have a capitalist free-for-all because that's what we've got. Mm-hmm. And everything is sold off. They sold off all the utilities. They sold off everything. And now none of it works properly. We have to subsidize it. They pay out massive dividends and don't invest any money in the infrastructure and the whole thing. And there's people, when they started privatizing everything in the 80s, there's loads of people warning about this. But we were all told, no, that's like privatized, like nationalized industries. That's communism.
Yeah. See what gets me. What gets me is all these people on Twitter going on about, how the Labour Party have they've done away with the strikes instantly, almost, by caving in to the demands. Just give them the money. Yeah, I mean, money's got to come from somewhere.
Taking it from the pensioners and giving it to the train drivers.
Yeah, exactly. And the doctors, Ukraine, junior doctors.
Yeah, and $3 billion to Ukraine, which is losing.
Yeah,
and was always going to lose.
Oh, it's always great to throw good money after bad, isn't it? I mean, always good.
Plus, God knows how much we're spending in support of Israel. I mean, if you think about that when Iran launched that warning attack a while back, and it cost something like $4 billion. How much of that was us? How much of that was UK taxpayers' money? I mean. And if the Iranians launch an attack on Israel again, then we'll be spunking out more money to help genocidal maniacs. I mean, what the hell?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Amy says, did I know that sick of it? I.e. Wayne has been sent to prison for 3 years, and yeah, I mean, I spent some time there going through the CPS tweets actually, because people were posting the CPS tweet and it's not there anymore. It's not on their timeline. I don't know where it came from, or I don't know if they've taken it down. But there is stuff on MSN about him being sent to jail for 3 years. The stuff on MSN's accurate. He said everything that's in that article. He posted the misinformation from Channel 3 Now, the one that I called out, and actually made a special broadcast about, because it was blatant misinformation, and the government, in my view, should have stepped in there and then, and they could probably have prevented all this nonsense. But instead, what they've done is they've locked up everyone who's retweeted that article and called them instigators. And I don't think that's the case. I mean, if you think about it, when was the last time you read something on Facebook or X or something, Ed, and went, "Oh, I must go out and do that"? You know?
Oh, I mean, usually it's the bloody opposite.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't. Look, if someone said, let's jump off a cliff," I'd say, "Be my guest. See you later. Bye."
Well, is that not
what idiot in the world?
Is that not what your mum used to say to you? You know, "Oh, my pal did it, so I thought I would." Well, if your pal jumped off a cliff, would you jump too?
But the whole thing, it's not, because if you look at those, there's something different.
Fucking hell! I'm sorry. The troll rubs off on one already, right?
I can turn my mic up.
No, it's not about you. It's about them. Paul Armstrong, right? So has the other lad left now? The lad from Real Review? No, he hasn't left. He's having a hiatus, I believe. Although I think he's worried. But he lives in England. So does Ed, mind you. But Ed, I think, is less worried. I think he's worried about being too political. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being political. And I've actually dug into the hate laws in quite some depth, right? And there's got to be an element of hostility or incitement or something like that. And if they can't prove that, then there's no crime. And I don't think, I mean, there's no crime of being a racist, right? That's not a crime. You have to have some kind of hostile intent, or it has to come from some kind of a hostile action on the other party. There's no crime of being offending someone. You know, if someone wants to take offence at your speech, then that's their prerogative. You know.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got some of the world's strictest and most harsh defamation laws. That if you say something genuinely defamatory, then there's already legal mechanisms to deal with all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. They are basically just trying to clamp the fear on people.
Yeah. I think they are.
And I mean, I've ever since the whole Rona thing, I got nailed on Twitter for a week or something, basically for telling someone to get in the sea, which and at that point, I mean, I'm very careful on social media in the sense that I will censor myself, but there's a line, and that line is inciting any kind of violence, or telling anyone to go and hurt themselves or anything like that. It's like with my memes, I won't ever do anything pornographic or violent or blood and gore or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's usually just taking promo pictures that those stupid cockhornballs release themselves and just replacing the Muppet's head with an actual Muppet. I mean, to me, I'm just making these things more real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Hi, Shalini, nice to see you. Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because you do have to self-censor to a degree, because you're not down the pub. And the problem is this, in many respects, this has become the pub for a lot of people, you know. But you can't treat it like...
But you still
Well, you do to a
self-censor in the
degree. Yeah.
pub.
I know,
I mean,
because
until you get really
really drunk.
drunk, and then you don't censor yourself, and then you get punched in the face, and then a fight starts, and then you end
Yeah,
up
yeah,
down
okay.
the nick anyway.
I've never had a fight in a pub. Never.
I've never actually been in a fight in my whole life.
I can believe that of you, Ed.
My
I can believe
my
that.
mouth has always managed to get me out of any trouble that I happen to get in, and trouble's usually easier just to avoid in the first place.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like I, I just think this government's gone too far, and you know, your lefty pal who hasn't revealed himself yet to this evening, right? He had a bit of a dig this morning when I said something about, you know, the Home Office. Actually, what you want to do is you want to go onto the Home Office, right? Go onto the Home Office tweet account, right, and look back at all their media posts. Just go onto their profile page and then click the button that says media, right? No, I don't mean you to do it right now, Ed. I'm talking to the people out there. And then and then you can see when the government changed. Because after the government changed, there's not one word of immigration or boats or anything. It's all, you will feel the full force of the law. It's like suddenly Judge Dredd is in the house, you know? It's boom. You will feel the full force of the law. We will come down on you like a ton of bricks.
But how does that solve any of the problems in society? It doesn't. You just end up criminalizing absolutely everybody. And we already don't have enough. I mean, they're already having to release prisoners just to lock these nasty tweeters and housewives up. And I mean, the simple fact of the matter is that, yes, while you do, I mean, like I said, even in polite company, one has to self-censor. The only place you don't really have to self-censor is if you're writing your own journal, or you're talking to yourself in the shower or the kitchen or something like that.
Yeah.
But you do, I mean, because that's just polite. It's just about existing in a society with other people where
it's about getting along, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, to some extent, live and let live. And it's just the thing is that the government is doing its best. And here's the real crux of the issue, and this goes for all governments, is that they are trying to divert attention away from their blatant theft, corruption, mismanagement, uselessness, idiocy.
Yeah.
By making everybody fight amongst themselves.
Yeah, I think you could be right. I think you could
and
be
that's
right.
why I mean that's why we had the othering during COVID, because the government implements loads of fear. They then create this class of people called anti-vaxxers, who then essentially get demonized.
Oh, well, it's like it's happened all throughout history, hasn't it? You know, the big one was during the Second World War, and then after that you get the denialists. You know, I mean, you can go to jail in Austria and Germany for denying the Holocaust.
Yeah,
there's an English author put in jail in Austria for writing a book. I mean.
There was German author Ernst Sundell as well.
Yeah.
What was the name of the English guy?
I can't remember.
David something.
Yeah.
I think.
The thing that gets me though is if you have gone to the point of criminalizing questions, because that's basically all these people are doing is questioning, right? So if you are criminalizing people asking questions about an event, then surely there's something to hide in that event. That's what exactly gets me. Yeah.
That's why one of my axioms that I live by is that truth shouldn't require censors to enforce it. Truth just stands on its own.
And it does. It should.
If something genuinely happened, then you don't need to criminalize anyone who questions it, because anyone who questions it can go to where the said event was supposed to have taken place, and they can do the research, and they can look at the numbers, and they will see, yes, this actually happened. The only time you need to try and enforce something happening is if the story is not exactly as you want it to be, and you need to stop people asking uncomfortable questions.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
Yep.
and that's what we've got with the current junta in Westminster.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have it in a number of other countries as well, because I mean it's not just Britain. But Britain seems to be going all in at the moment, you know, with regard to I think we genuinely are on the path to communism. I think he's starting to take us down that path.
I think calling it communism is, well, it's descriptive
Okay,
and
let's call
and
it.
accurate.
What about
Well,
collective
no, but,
socialism?
well, I just no, but I think that I think that what they want to bring in is actually worse, because there's an element of tyranny about it that even the Stasi never managed in East Germany.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I
okay,
mean, how
maybe
many
we're not
people
there
does
yet,
Stalin kill?
a lot.
Yeah, a
Like
lot. Was
more
it
than the whole population of the UK at this
yeah,
particular
something
moment
like
in time, I think.
60 million or
Mm.
something? Yeah, yeah. It is totalitarianism. I think you're right, Ray. I think you're right. Oh, good grief! And there are some great memes out there, aren't there, Red? You know.
This is why it's so crazy that it's being allowed to happen, because it's not just amazing memes. There's some fantastic books. There's like Matthias Desmet has just written an amazing book on totalitarianism,
Yeah.
and I never understood the whole COVID thing and the way that people changed until I heard Matthias Desmet talking about mass formation psychosis.
Mhm.
That he just likes to call it mass formation because he thinks that the psychosis part in the label is unhelpful. But when he was describing it, and also referring to Hannah Arendt, who did wrote a book about what happened to Germans during the Second World War. And it wasn't until I read that I actually understood what was going on. And we have the same thing happening again. They've basically they've kept it going. The mass formation started with the COVID, and then it went over to the arm stabby thing, and then it went over to Ukraine, and now it's got somewhere. It's got to go somewhere else.
And they've tried. I mean, we'll get on to monkeypox, I suppose, but they've tried a few other, like sloth flu or whatever it is, and bird flu and monkeypox. They've tried a few that haven't really kicked off. I thought this was a good meme as well.
The problem with all of these people, and
have you
also
seen
all
that
of these,
meme?
hang
So
on,
it's
let me just
Kamala.
update.
Kamala, I want equity. Be honest. I want equal outcomes. Be honest. I want communism. Thank you.
Yeah, but Kamala is.
Kamala.
I would like to say for the record
How
that
can
it's
you
got
do?
nothing
Right, hold
to do
on.
with her
Hold
being
on.
a woman.
Hold on.
But
Hold
she's
on.
a
Hold on.
fucking
Hold on.
moron.
Hold on. Right. What I want to know is how can you make Kamala sound sexy? No,
Sounds
but
too
no,
much like
you do.
camel.
No, when you say it, I think it sounds like she's quite sexy the way you say it. Say her name. Say her name. Say her
No,
name,
I'm
Ed.
not saying it now because I don't want it to sound sexy. No.
I mean, if I'm
gonna
wrong, you tell me.
camel.
But the way he says Kamala.
Kamala. I mean, I thought the A's were elongated American A's and not abbreviated English A's.
Kamala.
Just call her camel.
Right. Okay. So this was a good one. I quite like this one. Brussels slaps down Thierry Breton over harmful content letter to Elon Musk. Apparently, he didn't have approval to send it. In fact, if anything, this should be your wheelhouse, because I believe that photograph was off your tweet.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's possible.
You retweeted that.
I love this one. It was brilliant. Anytime one of these asshole commissioners gets slapped down, is a good day. I mean, Breton Verhofstadt is my least favorite.
Yeah,
but Breton is probably number 2 on the poo list. And the guy is just a dick. I mean, and if you actually read the letter he sent, it's really threatening. And
Oh yeah.
they're invoking all kinds of laws, but then to get slapped down like that, I mean, apart from anything else, it shows you what a complete mentalist authoritarian that von der Leyen woman is.
Oh, she's a nut job. I mean, but this is it's like, how did Germany get to be top of the tree again?
Yeah, but she's retarded too. I mean, if you talk to, the thing is that I have a couple of German dive buddies who I saw in December last year, and like we're drinking beer and talking a bit of politics and stuff. And the Germans think she's an absolute useless idiot. I
Well,
mean,
she is.
and they don't have any time for Scholz. I mean, this is the thing, the fundamental thing that people have to understand is that every single country in Europe hates their government. I don't
Mhm.
speak to any Europeans, whether they're Greeks or Spaniards or Italians or Scandinavians or Dutch or French or
Yep.
whoever. Everybody hates their government.
Yeah, I mean, the French hate Macron. They hate him.
Mhm. I mean, I think they might hate Macron a bit more than we hate Starmer, which is saying something.
Yeah. I mean, they literally. And see, the thing that gets me is France is in a perpetual state of riot. Okay, one way or the other.
But it's always France is and always has been about 5 seconds away from chopping all their rulers' heads off with a guillotine.
Yeah, but don't get me started on the Dutch. I mean, they're the only ones that have eaten a prime minister.
But the thing is with the Dutch is they're a bit like the English because they're quick to anger. Apart from when it comes to football or something like that. But when it comes to politics and rioting and stuff, it's not. It's only when you get the black bloc, you see them on the protests on the videos with the masks. And they're always the ones that start the trouble. And I personally think the system puts them in there. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what happened in this case too. And they then use that as a clampdown to essentially terrify the working class into submission and compliance. And now we have to figure out what's happening next because, I mean, what happens when Ukraine conclusively loses and the Russians have got 500,000 men surrounding Kiev and they're demanding Ukraine's unconditional surrender? I mean,
so I saw something today saying there might be as many as 20,000 NATO troops in Kursk.
Well, for now.
That's an awful lot of troops, and that's going to take an awful lot of explaining when they're all dead.
Yeah, and the thing is that the Russians are treating the Kursk incursion not as a military operation, but as a terrorist action. And what that means is that their rules of engagement change, and they are going to shoot first and ask questions later, which is fair enough. I mean, they're doing things according to Russian law, and if you invade someone's country, you deserve to get your ass kicked. Simple.
Yeah,
and it's like, and
but having said that, you know, there is a bit of pot and kettle here, to be fair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Russia didn't. It's like the media talks about the
you know what,
full-scale invasion.
No,
of Ukraine,
you're right. Listen. I know the whole situation. I made a video on the whole situation, then I had to take it down because YouTube didn't like it.
Oh, yeah.
YouTube actually gave me a community strike for explaining what happened from 2014.
Okay, well,
so really, we won't be going into it, right?
Okay,
but I'm quite well aware of the history, and you know, it's incredible that history can be rewritten by social media platforms. In effect. Because by not allowing people to talk about things, then are you not effectively clamping down all conversation and therefore denying people that come after us the ability to see what happened and to hear what happened and determine why these things occurred?
That's exactly that's exactly the reason. That's why the powers that be, because I mean, if you look at YouTube, Google, Facebook, they all got them starting money from CIA connected financiers, venture capitalists, etc. And they built them up and they've pumped loads of money into them, made them all free to start with,
Yeah.
because YouTube was completely free without any adverts for a very long time. And then suddenly, once they've cornered the market, and they're just so big that other video platforms and social media networks can't compete,
Yeah.
that's when they start to tighten the screws. And that's when you get the fact checkers and the censors, and it's all done officially. It's like, oh no, we're following advice from the WHO, and yeah, okay, fair enough. But who's checking that? Oh yeah, the same people that are fun. I mean, and then you can't talk about it because we'll get a strike on the channel.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, anyway.
And then if you try a platform like Rumble or
Nobody
Odyssey or
listens.
whatever, you
Nobody's
don't
there.
have, you just don't have the audience.
It's like talking to the ether.
Mm.
On the plus side, I did ask the wife if she fancied a visit, but she said, why would I want to go there? And I goes, well, it can't be any worse than here. So North Korea will open its borders to foreign tourists in December after 4 years. So they've actually closed their borders longer than New Zealand, which is impressive.
Mm. But they're also building. Did you see the stories about that entire beachfront?
You told me yesterday.
Yeah, and but at the rate we're going in the UK, pretty soon the North Koreans will probably be writing blog posts about how oppressed the people in the UK are.
I know. Well, I think they probably will. I mean, I'm telling you, they're on that Facebook right now, putting Kim and Xi, and they're going, look at the state of the UK, boys. What's going on? Right, have you had a raw dogging?
Do I want to?
Oh, yeah, it's actually okay, right? It's apparently going on a long flight, right? A transatlantic flight, and not doing anything. No consumption of media, no consumption of food or water. You just sit there for the whole flight, staring straight ahead.
Why?
I don't know. But I can't understand why people would think it was a good thing to do. But apparently this is the new trend. Raw dogging, they call it.
I'm beginning to despair of my fellow humans. I really am. I think that I don't know. It harks back to legends that you hear about pre-flood, like 12,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, where the legends all talk about how humans all went crazy and started being really debauched, and God decided to kill them all as punishment. Which is pretty much, if you go to the various different cultures around the world that have flood myths, that's the essence of how they explained what happened, was that people started seriously misbehaving and acting like dicks, and God decided to put an end to it. And then when you actually look at what's going on now, if we were to have a cataclysm in the next 10 years or so, the most likely survivors would be hunter-gatherers, because they're the ones that are closest to the earth and are more likely to be able to survive just purely off their surroundings.
Yeah.
And one thinks, what stories would they tell their children about what happened? And because they must be exposed a little bit to the West, and then you get survivors from Europe and Africa and places like that would actually naturally gravitate towards these people because they know how to survive, and they would then start teaching them stuff, and then that civilization restarts. And that actually tracks very much with what the myths say
it does.
happens.
It does.
And I find it absolutely fascinating and terrifying in equal measure.
So before we actually leave communism behind, apparently Starmer is going to review the online safety bill to make sure it's fit for purpose, i.e. it's harsh enough.
Yeah. I mean, it was already draconian enough. How much more draconian do they want to make it?
Well, it all goes back to how quickly do you want to slip into totalitarianism? Does that work? Yeah, totalitarian. Yeah. So yeah, because I think they want to get. I mean, I didn't realize that his timescales were so compressed. I thought he was maybe going to take 5 to 10 years to slide us into complete totalitarianism and ultimately communist dictatorship. But no, it appears that he's wanting to get the job done quick.
And the thing is that all these social media, maybe not X, but Facebook and Meta covering Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they'll basically all be sucking up to the government and censoring as much as the government demands.
Yeah, of course.
And so
yeah.
somehow,
I mean, let's face it, right? I mean, Facebook was Zuckerberg trying to get laid, right? That's all it was. He made a program so he could try and get laid, match up with a girl, right? And ultimately he got a wife out it, right? In fact, did you see the 7-foot statue he gifted to his wife? It's a fucking horrible thing. I mean, it's obviously a statue of her, and she is Asian, right? But it just looks horrible. It's green to start with because it's obviously made of copper, and it's covered in some kind of silvery, shimmery alleged dress or whatever. But it's just, why would you give your wife such an object of horror?
Because you got more money than sense,
probably,
and you've already given her every other thing that you can possibly think of, and so. But you could still be a bit more classy than that. I mean, why not house and feed and clothe 500 orphans as a bloody wedding present for her or something? I mean,
that's just encouraging people to breed, or not to breed, but that's encouraging the population to continue rising.
Well, yeah, and so obviously eugenicists, but the eugenicists never realised that as soon as the population dwindles to a point whereby the society doesn't function anymore, what the hell are they going to do for their servants, and who's going to man their private boats and drill for the oil that they need for their yachts and all this shit?
See, this has always been my contention about this. Population. They want to get rid of the population because who is going to work everything if they do? That's the problem.
Well, I think they certainly want to get rid of a certain section of it, but they more importantly want to control all of the others.
They want to keep the dumb people. That's what they want.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never understood that, because if you look at the whole Rona thing, all they did was wake a whole bunch of people up, make a whole bunch of people far more determined not to put up with any nonsense. And those people,
but those are the people they'll be targeting now, you see.
Yeah, but that's not what I mean. Yeah, okay, they targeted Bernie, I suppose, which was potentially a warning to the rest of us. But I mean, the thing is that we do still have the ability to speak relatively freely. You do have to be a little bit careful of what you say. But that essentially extends to not wishing harm on people. Which, yeah, you can kind of avoid that in conversation fairly easily. And I mean, to be honest, on Twitter, my solution to it has always been to block with gay abandon. And I mean, I'll see people reply to stuff that other people post, and I just think that appears to be someone that would report people really quickly. So I just block them. Done.
Yeah. Oh, right. Here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready for it?
Oh God. I like this one.
I was actually thinking of changing the first one to throw feces. But then again, that'd probably be seen as an incitement to violence, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, it ain't.
I mean, the fact that we've seen monkeypox off twice already, pretty much just by flooding the entirety of social media with so many memes taking the piss out of it, that they just went off into the background, and now they've brought it back again. So we'll just have to roll out. I mean, they're really stupid. They should come up with something else and at least force us to make some new memes.
I know.
Because everyone's got a few hundred monkeypox memes. The The only slight difficulty is because you have to spend half an hour scrolling back through your images folder just to find the damn things.
I've given up, mate. I've just given up. I mean, I've got to the stage now. If I'm looking for a picture, right, I just go back on the internet and find it again, because I know I've got it somewhere, but there's no point in trying to look for it. So
That's like my R folder. I
just
actually
too
do the
much.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what size it is now,
Every-
but last time I checked, it was about 12 gig.
Yeah, every so often I just go in, select all, and delete, and I'll start again. You know, what's the problem? Because you've got unlimited access to the interwebs. What's the point in keeping all this shit? You know.
All right, total count 14.3 gigabytes on my art folder now.
Yeah, that's excessive. Excessive.
It's not. I mean, that's all. Well, it's all memes that I've made and Photoshop files and
Good night, Amy.
all of my daily Vlad images. Night, Amy.
Yeah. Right. Oh, where was it? This is quite cool. I thought. Right. This was us. This video is going kind of what would you call it? Viral around Twitter's, and some people are offended because there's no diversity in the group. It's obviously a university in America. That's a sorority house, and sorority, right? Judging by the fact that they're all wearing cowboy boots, it's probably in Texas or somewhere that is, shall we say, Midwest more than California. So I would probably say that's probably an indication of the majority of the population in that area.
Why is it only the white countries that have to be diverse?
That's a good question, mate.
Why is no one going to Saudi Arabia or India
or
and
Japan?
Saying or Japan and
Japan's
saying
a cracker.
There aren't enough white people or black people in your TV commercials.
Yeah, but
I mean, I bet you if you go to Japan,
100%
of people in TV commercials in Japan. Well, okay, maybe 99.9% of people in TV commercials in Japan are Japanese,
unless there's somebody like Brad Pitt or something like that. But
so why is it Europe that has to be diverse?
Because of the message.
Well, it's because we're run by treacherous toe rags.
Because of that
Keith.
clown Fink, Larry Fink. He's a fucking Fink, all right. He's the guy that he pulls the strings and thought he just pulls strings to make companies do stupid things so as he can profit off them, right? And I think that's all this is. He just goes, oh, well, let's make it. Let's see if we can jiggle up the markets a bit and we'll make people do stupid things like, let's make them make sure that, 80% of their hires are diverse as opposed to white, even though 90% of the population's white. So we'll end up with minorities doing all the work and the white people sitting on their butt doing fuck all. And I seriously think he sits there and dreams this shit up because what else has he got to do all day? I mean, the guy's loaded, right? He doesn't want for anything.
Minions doing all the hard work. Black world.
Yes. I think I'll make Netflix make shitty movies for the next year and lose all their customers, And then Netflix go, hold on a minute, this shit isn't working. And then they bin it and Fink goes, oh shit, Netflix have twigged. I'm going to have to change my tack. But, I mean, what's he trying to achieve? What the fuck is DEI and ESG trying to actually achieve? Because it's not equality.
No, there's social credit scores for companies.
Yeah, they are.
Which will lead to social credit scores for people.
Which will lead to communism.
Well, yes, but communism on steroids.
Well, yeah, but
it's also, I mean, it's not communism because it's I don't know, oligarchism or something like that, because you essentially, or neo-feudalism is a good one, because you would have masters and serfs.
Mm-hmm.
Masters being people like Finko and serfs being the rest of us. Yeah,
we're back to the Dark Ages. We're back to where we were last night. And you know what's going to happen, right? There's going to be some kind of climate disaster, like a big volcano goes off. The weather's going to close in for a couple of years. Everybody's going to get sick, and we're all going to die.
Or you could actually be more positive and say that through our ingenuity and things like indoor UV agriculture and stuff, there's
and
always,
vitamin D
I mean,
supplements, yeah.
well, if a society is well organized, has leaders that give a shit about the population, and has a motivated, educated group of people in the country, and you have a little bit of warning time, or you have to get your shit together really quickly. But I mean, knocking up a bunch of massive indoor greenhouses with UV lights and stuff, so you can start growing food. I mean, there are solutions to all of the problems if you don't have a bunch of selfish, rich assholes
They're
ruining the
already
world.
there. All we need to do is take over the cannabis farms.
No, we're leaving those alone. There's no way anyone should be forced to survive the apocalypse without cannabis. I'm sorry, that's asking too much.
Oh,
Well, no,
right.
because apart from anything else, they're really useful plants in all sorts of different ways. The seeds are full of great oils and proteins and stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just makes passing the time in your
Yeah, no,
underground tunnel that much
yeah.
more enjoyable.
This was not medical advice. We are not doctors. Please disregard anything that Ed just said.
And I am absolutely not advocating that anyone do
No,
any substances
definitely
of
not.
any kind, legal or otherwise.
So this is what we were talking about last night about Turkey and the possible breakup of NATO. I mean, I've long said that the breakup of NATO is inevitable, especially the way things are going, and especially with people not wanting to pay for it, and things like what's his name's Zelensky coming out and saying, yeah, it was us that did it, with the Nord Stream and I mean, why is Germany still backing them? I mean, Ukraine has put Germany in the position it's in right now economically. I mean, their biggest chemical manufacturer moved to China. BASF, which has been in Germany since 1914 or something, is now in China.
Well, that's basically because the entire German leadership, I personally am starting to think that the entire German leadership is totally bought and controlled by outside forces. And if there was that interesting story, well, not interesting, kind of sordid story about Annalena Baerbock and an African gigolo.
I will hear nothing of Annalena Baerbock. I will hear no. I will brook no. I will brook no criticism.
She likes African
Oh,
boys.
right, okay, forget her. She's lost to me now. She's dead to me. She's dead to me.
The thing is that story actually faded away really quickly, and when that happens, it's usually where the person in question, in this case Annalena, is getting cold feet, or has decided that she can't do something, or doesn't want to keep going along with whatever the current nonsense is, and they basically just wave that in front of her face and say, "Right, you want your whole life destroyed?
We're gonna bring you down, doll."
Well, the insane thing about Scholz is that there's pictures of him in the 80s, I think, at German protests.
Careful now.
But they were protesting the very thing that he's now, as Chancellor, allowing to happen, which is intermediate range nukes in Germany.
Yeah.
So you wonder what they've got on him.
You know what? We all change. We all make mistakes, right? I mean, when I was, and I don't know if I can say this. I really don't know if I can actually say this, and I don't know if you'll believe me. But when I was like 16 and doing modern studies and things like that, and getting my eyes opening to what was actually going on in the world, because we had a fantastic teacher. I actually, for an instant, thought communism wasn't a bad idea.
I went through a Marxist phase at university.
All right, okay. So
I went to Sussex Uni, which the International Relations Department at Sussex, when I was there, was notoriously left-wing to the point of bordering on Marxism. And I had a little fling with Carl, and I mean, I don't know. I got about 3 pages into Das Kapital and thought, no, I'm
this
not
ain't for me, mate.
And I just, and then when you actually start going into rabbit holes and you look at who was funding Karl Marx and
The one that got me, right? And I've actually never read the Bible, although it's just not something I can read. You know, you can find out a lot about it, but it's really difficult to read. But when you start reading things like that other book, the Quran, right? It's like reading a fucking horror story that you've got to keep turning the next page. It's like, it can't get any fucking worse, and it does. This is what I don't. I mean, how can people not see? You know, how can they not see? This is not good.
well,
You know?
I mean, I think organized religion is a complete disaster. And
Well, I think
they're
it's all a cult.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the ones that always gets me with organized religion is there was a story a few years ago of a woman who showed up in Sri Lanka and they refused her entry into the country because she had a tattoo of the Buddha on her ankle.
I remember
it's
that.
And I mean, it's
I
literally the
remember
most, to me, it's the most un-Buddhist thing you could possibly do. Can you honestly imagine the Buddha minding if someone had a tattoo of him on their ankle? I mean,
I don't think he would be bothered. Why would he
it,
be
it,
bothered?
It'd probably really like it. It'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a really pretty tattoo or something like that. But it wouldn't be like, get the hell out of my country, you heathen bitch. I mean, what the hell? Just
Good grief.
you just can't. I mean, people are so stupid, and organized religion and that obsession with it. It's when, but it's when people get focused in on any one thing, whether it's organized religion or whether it's a cult or whether it's a conspiracy theory. I mean, it's like some of the people who believe that Freemasons control everything.
Flat
I mean, I'm not
Earth.
saying that these
Flat
people
Earth.
aren't powerful. Oh, let's not even go there. Yeah, absolutely. But they don't, it's like they get to a certain point and then they just stop thinking. And it's almost like an excuse to just switch your brain off from that point.
Yeah.
And I struggle to communicate with people like that, whether they're like mainstream believing people or alternative believing people.
Yeah.
You've got to.
There's a happy medium, isn't there?
Mm.
Yeah, there's got to be a happy medium. And you know what? I think it's worthwhile being critical or skeptical of almost everything at the start. You know, I think there should be a test that people have to pass before you accept them into your inner circle or your circle of trust.
Well, I think if you're sensible as a person, you're kind of already doing that. And certainly the last 4 years, I mean, I've become much more discerning about who is let into my circle. And there's plenty of people who have, I mean, not with any kind of spite or anger, but people just fallen by the wayside because you don't really talk to them anymore because you just have absolutely nothing in common. And you know that a conversation about most subjects is just likely to lead to a massive row. And you just can't be bothered with it.
Yeah. Oh. Right.
And it's exhausting.
Next, we'll start to lighten things up a bit now that Shalini's gone to bed. We'll wait until she goes to bed and then we'll get the funnies out. But anyway, yeah. Where are we? Night, Shalini. Love you.
Night, Shalini.
Right. Able-bodied people are now identifying as disabled. Right. Transableism is a newer form for BIID or body integrity identity disorder, in which a person actually identifies as disabled. So this woman, right? This woman in this wheelchair, right, identifies as disabled. And there's a video goes with this, and I'm not playing videos because I'm fed up getting copyright struck for videos, right? So I'm just putting pictures up now. And you know, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's how
it's
it
easy
is.
enough to find the video. I mean, just do a Twitter search. I mean, it's not
Exactly.
difficult.
Right. So anyway, there's a video that goes with this, and in one part of the video, she is skiing, not in a wheelchair. She's skiing on her legs, right, and then walking upstairs. There's nothing wrong with her. At all.
I didn't think there was anything more despicable than men pretending to be women and competing in women's sports. But saying that I'm identifying as being disabled and not being disabled, it's just I can't even explain it. I can't rationalize it. I can't wrap my tiny little mind around it. I mean, what the hell? Who even does that? It's like
It's
like
mad.
it's like a guy getting into a boxing ring with a woman and beating the pulp out of her, and then prancing around with a gold medal like you've actually won something.
Yazzie said something about the Paralympics there, but she retracted it quickly. It must have been bad.
Well,
I wish I'd read the whole thing.
I'm not wishing harm on anybody. All I'm saying is that there's a fundamental disconnect when
Yeah.
men are allowed to when men beating up on women
Mm-hmm.
is allowed. And I mean the World Boxing
You mean
Association
like that?
wouldn't
Right.
yeah, that was when the coach found out that it was actually a man.
Well, I was going to say, that's when the coach went, hold on, he's got a stoner.
I
Look at the expression on his face. It's a man.
but again, it's like what kind of person takes those accolades knowing that
Mm-hmm.
and also I mean it's also the Olympic Committee because the World
Oh,
Boxing
they're
was it the
outrageous.
I mean because the actual boxing world body didn't let this person compete because of the XY chromosomes.
Exactly.
And the Olympic Committee was like, no, it's on your passport that you're a woman, so you can compete with the women. I mean, and
Scary,
but then
huh?
the Olympic Committee, they must. The thing is that the Olympic Committee must have had a preview of the opening and closing ceremonies because that didn't just happen. I mean, it wasn't just that weirdo promoter that did it, just put it on and nobody had seen it before.
Oh,
All of
you're
these
kidding me
idiots
on.
and it's just like and so they let that happen as well, and you just think, what? Just
See, that's ridiculous. Yazzie says, did you see the athlete who cut off his finger so he could compete in the Paralympics?
was that the one who? I know that.
What what was he in? Pistol shooting?
I didn't see that one. I did see that there was a man who identifies as a woman competing in running of some description, and from what I could see, they didn't look. I mean, I didn't see any disability. There were 2 arms, 2 legs. I don't know how you become a Paralympian
They're
runner.
just everybody's cheating nowadays, aren't they? Everybody
Yeah.
cheats at everything.
Well, it's maybe they were saying the fact that they've got this gender dysphoria counts as a disability, so they can go in the Paralympics. I don't
Or
know.
maybe they're claiming a mental disability, you know.
I just
It's
you just
sad.
you just see people cheating. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's like when I mean I'm sure you played computer games, like
Yeah.
particularly back in the day with the cheat codes and stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing about the cheat codes is it's the fastest way to suck all of the fun out of the game.
There are people I think even today on Fortnite who use things like aimbots and they never miss, you know. And it's you go up against them and you always die, you know, because they never miss. It's just there's no fun in it, you know.
Yeah. And it's and yes, there are people like that out there, but surely these sporting committees, if they have one frickin' job, it's to keep the sport honest and to keep cheaters out. It's like you wouldn't they I mean they force all these swimmers and stuff to do multiple drug tests to prove that no I mean
Yeah.
testosterone is a performance enhancing. I mean a lot of the people who do dope
Yeah.
take testosterone because it
Yeah.
builds up muscle mass and shit. Okay, so it's a guy pretending to be a woman. Surely that counts as doping.
Yeah. I would have thought
I
so.
mean,
I mean,
But
the whole thing's just ridiculous, mate. It really
but
is.
it shouldn't even be. We shouldn't even be sitting here
We
having this
shouldn't.
conversation.
Yeah, we shouldn't. I mean,
That's the thing.
I don't see a problem where it's a non-contact sport, you know, and there's no inherent. Oh, I suppose. See that this is the
But
problem because
men have better hand-eye coordination than women.
yeah, I know
There's
better
a lot.
spatial awareness. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not just
yeah,
strength,
it's not
and
just
that's
strength. I know men
well,
are
and
just
that's
better all round.
sure. But then there's certain things. Oh, shut up, misogynist. No, no, because
Yeah,
men are not better than women. Women aren't better than men. We basically there are asshole men and asshole women, and there are good men and good women. But we complement each other. We're not
yeah,
supposed to be in competition.
we're
We're
not
supposed to.
exactly.
I mean, the women. It's like the guys build the home, and the women make the guy builds the house, and the woman makes it home. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
yeah,
and doing those two things requires very very different skills, but they both need each other. And the whole thing, this is again, it's all this divide and rule bullshit in society, and frankly, feminism as well, that
hmm
have made women think that they don't need men, and turned men into emasculated little weaklings.
yeah. Now this next slide is quite an old one, right? But I was thinking about this, and I'm thinking, why didn't you realise, you know? So this is Candice Bushnell, who wrote Sex and the City, and at the age of 60 admits she regrets choosing a career over having children as she's now truly alone. And I'm thinking, she wrote Sex and the City, right? Did she not think that maybe some of the angst that was coming out of it was due to her wants, her needs, you know?
Well, I
Her
think it's
biological clock going tick, tick.
it's people getting too wrapped up in their own identity, and she creates an identity of for herself where she's this strong, successful single woman that doesn't
Yeah.
have kids and focuses on her work, and somehow she loses sight of to start with loses sight of what's really important, but also has her head filled with all sorts of nonsense to start with about how that's that's something that's desirable for a
Yeah.
woman instead of actually looking inside herself and saying what she really wants. Because if you're going to devote your life to something, then don't look back with regrets.
No.
And ultimately, I mean, yeah, she could have had kids, but kids can make you feel really alone as well. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's and you can be in an unhappy relationship. It's not yes, there are good marriages and happy children and everything else, but it doesn't always work out that way. But what's more important for me is actually what is it that you really want to do? Are you happy where you are? And if not, that's what you need to look at. But don't get yourself into a situation where you end up at 60 looking back on your life and regretting it. I mean, I haven't got any kids, but the reason I haven't got any kids is because been I came from a broken family myself, and I've been very particular about my partners, and I've never actually met someone that I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
have kids with,
Fair
and I didn't
dues.
want to bring and I didn't want to bring kids into the world if they're just going to end up in another broken home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it worked out that way. I've also been really bad at relationship choices, but that's a whole separate conversation. But the point is that I don't have any regrets because life has worked out the way it has.
Yeah.
And I have a good life and I'm happy. I'm not going to get to 60 and think, oh, I'm totally alone. I wish I'd had kids.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck off. If you're feeling alone and you're 60, surely you should have the life skills to actually kind of get out there and
Oh
make some
yeah.
friends. Or you could adopt, or you could get a dog or a
You,
cat,
yeah,
or
it's
I
quite
mean,
easy if you actually talk to people. It is relatively easy to not be alone. You know. Right. Apart from that, did I mention the Matthew Perry earlier?
no.
You remember Matthew Perry, Chandler out of Friends,
Yeah, I wasn't a friend's disciple, but
drowned in his hot tub, right?
did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he drowned.
Or
He
maybe I
drowned.
didn't. I've forgotten.
I think it was during the pandemic, but so he drowned in his hot tub, and it was initially chalked up as death by misadventure, although he had a fairly substantial amount of ketamine in his system, right? So they thought maybe he'd taken ketamine and taken too much and basically slid under the water and not been able to get back out. And now 5 people have been charged with his death. 2 of them
Bloody hell.
doctors.
How the hell did that happen? What?
Well, obviously the police never let this one go. They kept digging away, and they found out that I don't know the full story, but breaking news today was that 5 people have been charged with his death, and 2 of them doctors.
I'm Poor guy. I mean,
Now, speaking of dead guys, right? I thought Keith Flint was dead. You know,
who?
Keith Flint, frontman of the Prodigy. You know, Firestarter, Twisted Firestarter.
Oh yeah. Him.
Yeah, I thought Keith Flint was dead, but I think I've found him. I think he's been hiding out, right? And he's maybe gone a little. He's gone a little to the other side.
Oh please!
It does look a bit like Keith Flint.
And he's been having McDonald's for breakfast and lunch.
Yeah. He's got a bit. He's gone a bit too far.
This is something that I just do not understand about camera phones and social media and people generally, is how one could take a picture like that of oneself and post it online.
Well, it's like,
I mean,
it's like, see, the ugliest people normally think they're the best looking.
yeah, well, not always, but
yeah, I mean, see, like fat people, they seem to have this kind of misplaced self-confidence that they think they are absolutely. It's either, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's overcompensation or whatever, but people like Lizzo, right? I mean, it's like, in 1,000 million years, how can anyone find that attractive? And yet she thinks she is like God's gift, doesn't she?
But does she really deep down?
Well, you see, that's the point. Is it just all an act? She's just kidding herself? And she just basically mentally ill?
The thing is that someone, you don't get into that kind of state as a person without having some essentially really bad eating habits and really bad exercising habits, and you essentially using food as a crutch or a comfort blanket or something like that. And that to me smacks of insecurity, mental health issues, and she's basically covering that up with this mask of, oh, look how confident I am, and look how much money I've got, and look how I can make all these people dance around or whatever. And that sense of power that you must get from being on a stage, having all these people kind of dancing away to your music. But deep down, I don't think she's happy. To be honest, if you actually look at a lot of them, even that ridiculous Sam Smith creature, I mean, they actually, if you look into their eyes and you look into their faces, they look like really deeply unhappy people.
They look soulless, actually, don't they?
Well, that's because they've sold their frickin' souls for money and fame and power, and at some point in their careers, they've basically been forced to go down. They've been forced to make a choice to further their career, and that choice involved doing something or taking part in something which essentially resulted in them being soulless kind of nothings. But you can cover it up because you've got all the money and you fly around in a private jet and you have all these people kind of, you're doing all these interviews and everyone's telling you how great you are. But deep down, you're basically miserable and you're probably going to die much too soon and not live a fulfilling, happy life.
Well,
I mean,
that's probably true, mate. That's probably true. And the thing is, once you've been that size, you're fucked because you're never getting back to a decent size and not having major issues to deal with, i.e., probably having too much skin. Speaking of too much skin or being skinny, Yazzie says been slated for being a skinny mini. Well, yeah, that's all very well, but were you as skinny as the person that I described as like Skeletor's sister in my latest movie review? So
Yeah,
there's
but so I mean, some people have a super fast metabolism, and I this all everyone's different,
well,
and it's not
yeah, everyone is
ultimately.
different. It's very very rarely to do with metabolism. It's,
Well, the
most
thing is,
fat people have got a faster metabolism than thin people
well,
because
I think,
they need it to keep themselves going.
yeah. I mean, to me, the real problem in this world is actually not whether people are fat or thin or black or white or English or Dutch or Japanese or whatever. The problem is the people who will point out things like, say things like to Yazzie, like you're a skinny mini. I mean, that's a nasty fucking thing to do. The problem is not with Yazzie. The problem is with someone who's being freaking nasty to her. I mean, people like that should just shut the fuck up. Pardon my French. I mean,
Okay.
that to me is where the problem is.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, Alex. Alex says, "Why is Europe still backing Ukraine?" I have no idea. I mean,
Because of the
you've
media, Alex.
you've come to the wrong
It's
people if you wonder if you're looking for an answer to that because we don't.
I don't have any answers, but I can tell you if there is a
Yeah,
reason, it's because people are being lied to. Nobody in the mainstream is being told
the
the truth
truth.
about anything. And I mean, I know people who still think Ukraine's winning because this whole Kursk thing, and it's just like yeah, they're like
Ah,
mushrooms. They're kept in the dark and fed poo.
indeed. Right. I thought this was quite good. And I think this is actually real. Big Mike. Big Mike is big.
Yeah, Big Mike is huge,
Yeah, Big Mike is
and
not a
she's got
tiny
really broad
girl.
shoulders, and she's got broad shoulders too.
Hasn't she just? And big hands. What big hand do you have, Big Mike? Anyway,
Um, oh dear! Someone fact check that picture, saying that
I think it's right.
that Big Mike was standing slightly in front of the other ladies, and it just makes it look
Oh
bigger or
yeah,
something.
yeah. That'll probably be true. But I mean, when you see Big Mike standing next to Obama, there's no difference in height, and Obama's not a short guy.
Hmm.
You know. Anyway, I want to know where this
That's
national.
so dodgy.
I want to know where this national park is. I think we should do a show from it. I think it would be a classic.
Gary's on Park. That can't be real, surely.
I think that's real, mate. I mean, look at that. Doesn't look like a Photoshop job at all.
That's maybe that is Canadian, and there was a guy because
Let's find out.
retard might be a French surname.
On for late
Well, I don't
the
know.
happy late park.
I'm just trying to explain it because Gay Retard National Park, there's got to be a reason for it. I need to find out.
Hey, I'm typing.
Me too.
Yes and no. It says we can say there is no such place.
I was thinking.
Huh?
Is it?
It's a photoshopped picture of Grand Canyon National Park. Oh, it doesn't. That's a good Photoshop job. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm gutted.
No, it is because they've done a really good job on the embossing of the letters.
Oh, haven't they, Josh? That's aye, the E's wrong. Look at the E. And the T's a different colour. Yeah. Aye, okay. Oh, busted. Debunked. I'm gutted.
News.
Fake news. We are guilty.
Well, no, we're fact checking.
Bang at the door. It's the Home Office. They're here. They're coming for me.
No, we're fact checking. We're fact checking false pictures on the internet.
Yeah.
Because we've just conclusively fact checked Gay Retard National Park, and it is not a real national park. So
this is a clip from a video. Okay, this was a policewoman in somebody's backyard on her phone on a freaking rocking horse.
I think I've seen this one.
That's just, I mean, that's just wrong. She's sitting on the rocking horse, rocking away. And I wasn't going to play it because I have to cut the
And she's
music
not.
off.
I mean, she might be on her break. Well, no, because there's other couples there, so she's clearly
No,
supposed
they've
to be
obviously been
working.
round there doing something. You know, you don't go on a what? She's on her break in somebody's backyard.
Oh, I was trying to give her the benefit of
Oh
the
yeah,
doubt.
the
I
benefit of the
don't know.
doubt. Yeah.
I don't want the Home Office people banging on the door because I'm being nasty to cops.
Bang
Okay.
bang bang. It's a
I mean,
home office.
you were a former plod, so you've probably got connections that will get you out of
get
such
me
situations.
more time. yeah. Right. Actually, now that's a serious point. I was looking at Toby Young's free speech organization. Is it worth joining something like that?
Not Toby Young's free speech organization, because there's only certain amounts of free speech that they're happy with.
Yeah.
For example, if you start trying to criticize a certain Middle Eastern country, because when all of
not
that
the
stuff,
one that starts with I.
when all that stuff happened in October last year, the Free Speech Union was not free speech at all. They were rabidly anti-free speech as far as that is concerned. So
See, that's odd. You
I
can't draw lines like that if you're going to be that. And this is the whole thing. This is the whole problem I had with the UFP. Remember them? Ben had a big issue with them, but the biggest problem, and every time I went to a meeting, I kept saying, "Look, we're not supposed to be an activist organization. It's supposed to be an accreditation organization." And that was a problem. They were confusing activism with accreditation all the fucking time. And
but I think we actually have a lot of that now. I mean, I think one of the reasons we have all the green nonsense and all of the gender nonsense and all of the rainbow nonsense and all of this stuff is basically because too many people have become activists. And it's just like cults. We've got the climate cult and we've got the gender cult.
Yeah, of course we have.
And I mean, cults are bad. It's just, it doesn't matter whether it's whether they're claiming to try and save the planet, which they're not actually doing.
Yeah.
But then they get so fixated. It's focusing in on that one thing, like we were talking about earlier, where you just your brain switches off, and it's like, oh yeah, climate change, and then they don't go any further than that. They don't question anything. They don't say, hang on a minute, every single prediction that's ever been made about the climate, all of the disaster scenarios have been wrong. We're now in 2024. I mean, the Maldives are still there. Polar bears are still there. The Great Barrier Reef is growing. Antarctica's got more ice than ever. Well, not ever, but last 100 years or whatever. I mean,
yeah, on the land part, and that. See, this is the problem. This is where people don't understand. If ice is on the water, which it is in the Arctic and it is in the Western Ice Shelf in Antarctica, doesn't matter if that melts, right? The sea level won't change one iota because it's on the water, so it's displacing the same amount of water as it exists as. So the Arctic melts, sea level doesn't change. Greenland melts, sea level changes. Yeah, 5 miles of ice on Greenland. That runs into the Atlantic. Boom, things are going up. But as it stands, we've got glaciers receding just now, and I think it's is it Austria and Switzerland or whatever? There are glaciers receding and exposing ancient trade routes, right? Now,
but there's also glaciers that are growing in Greenland as well.
If those glaciers are receding and exposing ancient trade routes, that means that humans were quite happily tramping about, carrying goods and shuffling them from one city to another in order to trade. So there wasn't a big deal about it being a little hotter because they obviously everybody got on fine.
You've heard about the Bedouin, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these people schlep across the desert in 50, 55 degrees of temperature with no water sources for hundreds of miles, and they've adapted. We've got camels. They've got various techniques that they use to keep cool and to find water. I mean, people are incredibly adaptable. We actually the real danger is cold.
Yeah.
Cold is much more of a
10,
problem than heat.
10 times more people die from cold than die from heat.
And that is not a statistic that all these climate wankers want you to find out about.
No, it's probably not. It's probably not, and that's why, you know, cutting the pensioners' winter fuel payments a great idea.
I mean, we already have the worst. I mean, the lowest paid pensioners in the whole of Europe.
Mhm.
And now the government's taking more money away from them so they can give train drivers who are already being paid quite well a pay rise.
Yeah. Should have been a train driver.
And spunking 3 billion of it on the cokehead from Kiev.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And you'll get locked up if you try and criticize the government about it.
Yeah, no anti-government rhetoric here.
Oh no! All hail the dear leader. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of. Have you noticed how manly and how imposing the dear leader is?
No,
it's
I can't
just.
say I
I feel like we're just so lucky to have Keir Starmer running the UK. He's really a national treasure.
You know, I don't actually understand people at all, right? Because unless they're getting paid to do it, but how can someone go on Twitter and say, "Isn't Keir Starmer such an imposing and, you know, valuable leader?"
It's the same as those knobends that were like praising Boris. I mean,
yeah, I know,
Boris fan club and the Keir fan club.
How can they do
got his
that?
little fan club as well somewhere. Maybe one or two people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But how can people do? How can they do that? How can they, in all good conscience, go to sleep at night after doing that? How many showers do they have during the day? You would make you feel unclean. You'd be walking about with a bell going, unclean, unclean. I have praised Keir Starmer. You notice he doesn't use his sir very much either. He doesn't like you to know that he's a lord, does he?
No. And he definitely doesn't like people to know that he's actually got an act of parliament covering his bloody pension.
Has he? Is it in a tax haven?
No, it's UK pension. I don't know about the details. I just need to put my phone on silent.
Oh, you mean from a Prime Minister point of view?
No. From when he was DPP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't trust him. He's the only one out of 600 and however many MPs that was a member of the Trilateral Commission.
All right. Oh, sorry.
And he's on the the executive committee of the Fabian Society or something as well.
Fucking communist. I'm telling you, he is the actual reincarnation of Stalin. I'm out there. I'm going to say it. I think he is the reincarnation of Stalin.
I don't give him that much credit.
Hey, wait, you know what? In a couple of years' time, if we're all dead or we're sitting in a gulag eating fish head stew together, I'll go, told you.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I will consider myself well and truly told, and I'll be feeling really contrite and sorry for myself. And I'll probably give you my portion of fish stew as penance.
Penance. Yeah, you'll be keeping some back with your fucking seagulls. You'll be known as, that's the seagull guy. Don't mess with him.
Well,
he's got connections.
Well, hopefully by that point, I'll figure out how to train the stupid little bastards, and I'll be able to get them to deliver things into the camp,
like keys.
But I mean, we've been joking about the whole gulag thing since the COVID happened. So I mean,
oh, it's coming.
Well, I'm sure it's coming.
Well, who's going to be first? Is it going to be the UK or is it going to be the States? Who's going to have what do you call it? Re-education. Who's going to have re-education camps first?
It'll probably be somewhere like Australia or New Zealand.
Oh, it could be New Zealand.
I'm not quite sure.
No, Canada. It's going to be Canada, isn't it? Canada's Canada's so far down there. I mean, let's face it, he's a half communist anyway. His dad was a communist, wasn't he? You know, old Fidel, right? So,
well, his
his
supposed
biological father, I mean.
but no, his biological father was a communist, and
Yeah.
his non-biological father was a socialist. So
Yeah, so I mean, let's face it, that guy's got no hope. Canada's there. I mean, Canada used to be a like a sensible America. You know, you could go to Canada. I used to go to Canada skiing, and you'd go to America skiing, and you'd go like you'd put a ski off piste, and the ski patrol there going, no skiing off piste, no skiing off, only ski on piste. Can't ski off piste. Ski off piste. You're not insured, and you might die, and we'll shoot you, right? But you go to Canada, right? You go to Canada and you ski off piste, and the guy goes, "Hey, good."
question in chat. What is it? Artifacting Reality says, what happened to those mega prisons the UK built during coup? That's a good question.
That big one down south,
Wellingborough.
Down
Apparently,
south.
there was more than, but the Australians, because they were building those everywhere, and the US has got FEMA camps as well.
Yeah, but were they not for the Abos? Sorry, I should have said Aborigines, the native Australians. Were they not for them? Because remember, they relocated them out of all their traditional villages, probably because they're sitting on top of valuable minerals, and moved them into these camps during the pandemic, didn't they?
Well, it does make you wonder about Wellingborough and the fact that the government says it has to release prisoners from existing prisons in order. So, it's a very good question. What happened to those mega prisons? Are they still being built?
I don't know.
Or I have no idea. I mean, we kind of heard about that. It was doing the rounds during the coup period for a bit, and then it all went.
Look,
quiet.
see all these guys that are getting, allegedly getting arrested off of Twitter and whatever. Why don't we put them in something like Baby Stockholm? Because it's kind of white collar crime, isn't it? You don't want to put them in. You don't want to put them in with the real bad guys, do you? Do you? I mean, you get if you get 3 years for hearty words on Facebook, and you're in, and you go, what are you in for? Oh, I posted a really bad meme. What are you in for? The guy goes, I raped 3 men, soon to be 4. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, really, is that what's going to happen? Yeah. Oh, and then the guy with the memes like, thank God I brought lube.
Okay, change the subject. That's enough.
Is it getting too close to home then?
Yeah, no. It's getting.
Too worried.
We have decency and standards on this show.
No, we don't. This is all in, mate. There's no decency and standards here. I think if you were sorry, audience, if you were looking for decency and standards, you came to the wrong place.
Well, yeah.
Is it real though? Says Yazzie. I don't see. This is the problem. You don't know what's real and what's not, and yeah, I mean, Wayne hasn't posted since the 11th of August. I went through all his stuff, and all that stuff that was on all the stuff that was mentioned on the MSM article about Wayne, right, is exactly what he's posted. He did post all that. He retweeted the one about the bad one about the I can't even show you it, because if I show you it, I'm publishing it, and therefore the Home Office might come and crack my door in, But the one about that being Ali Kazibal or whatever, and it was on the MI6 watch list. So all that, he posted all that, and he did say those things like, well done lads, and give it some, and all this, and so you got to be. I mean, you've really got to. You've got to be sensible, but by the same token, right? When you go to court, when you go to court, the test for something like that, the test is, what would a reasonable person think? So if I'm sitting as a keyboard warrior going, oh, yeah, give it to them, lads. I mean, the test is, would a reasonable person think you are calling people out to go and incite violence and riot, or are you just being a dick?
I
And
consider myself a reasonable person, and
yeah,
I wouldn't see that as an incitement to riot. I mean,
exactly.
I have actually done jury service, I have to say.
Oh,
Um, and so I've seen the
something I've
workings of
never
the
done.
system,
Yeah.
and I have sat in, um, not judgment, but I've been asked. I've sat in a room with a bunch of people and had to decide
Mhm.
on the guilt or innocence of a particular party.
What was the
And
trial?
I,
What was the trial? Was it a criminal trial?
uh, yeah, I think it was a
And
criminal
what was
trial.
it? What was the charge? What was the
But she
charge?
was, I think, because it's well after the fact now, and I'm obviously not going to name any names because I
Mhm.
can't remember them anyway.
Who cares?
But no, it was a woman who worked at Gatwick, who was accused of stealing, and
Gold. The
no,
gold
no, no,
robbery. No.
she was accused of taking passengers' luggage, and
Right.
they found various pieces of luggage and stuff, laptops and things like that
Oh,
at her
cool.
home.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, we saw CCTV footage of her
And did
picking up a
anyone?
case and walking off with it,
Right.
and
Right. So was the verdict guilty?
oh yeah,
Was it?
no,
Was the verdict unanimous?
yes, it
Good.
was,
Good. Right.
and
Okay. Okay.
and I was, I mean, because I ended up, it was actually quite funny because we did the trial and then we had to adjourn to come up with the verdict, and so you've got 12 strangers have had to have all put their mobile phones away, and we're all sat in this room around a table together,
Mhm.
we've sort of exchanged a few words here and there during, because this was, I was doing jury duty for a week, and I literally did nothing but sit around in the jury room for at
Yeah.
least, no, I think it was 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and
because you never
literally,
get picked. You get they pick a jury and then they weed out the people that look too reasonable, right?
yeah, or there's legal shenanigans. No,
Yeah.
because it's not. I mean, there was literally, we didn't do anything. There was a few times that they said, "Oh, we're going to need a jury," and then legal shit happens, and they don't end up needing a jury. But I think it was the last 3 days that we had this trial.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, it was absolutely fascinating to watch. The whole sitting around in the waiting room is really boring as hell. But
Oh yeah.
um,
Tell me about me.
but,
I've spent more
but
time in courts than I care to mention.
well, I mean, I think that the thing that I've actually found least impressive about the whole process was the two barristers, because they were basically, you could tell that they were mates. Um, what the defense barrister got the bloody airport wrong, and he was talking about Heathrow Airport at one point. And I was just sitting there thinking, hang on a minute, can I stick my hand up and go, excuse me, what airport did you say? And the judge didn't call him out on it or anything like that. And you think how much are these guys getting paid to actually stand there and basically get, okay, because I mean, you or me having a chat,
Mhm.
you get an airport wrong, but I mean, you're defending your freaking client in court. You would think
Mhm.
that he would actually know which airport he was talking about.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a mistake, but he didn't correct himself.
The best ones, the Procurator Fiscal Service in Scotland, which would be your public defenders or whatever you call them in America or England. I don't know what you have in England, because, and this is where you have to remember the legal system in Scotland is completely fucking different from England. It's a completely different system. Everything's different. I mean, we've got sheriffs. We don't have judges. We have the Procurator Fiscal, who's the you've got the Crown Prosecution Service and all that shit. But anyway, I remember I was at trial and there was the fiscal, and it's always a fucking junior lawyer who does all the shitty road traffic stuff. He comes up and he's going, right, we've got this and this and this. So what's the charges? And I'm like, he's got no license, he's no insurance, he's no MOT, he's no tax. And the guy's like, oh, no MOT. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't done an MOT. He says, I think it ran out about 3 months ago. I better go and get one. This is the fiscal, right? The fucking prosecution lawyer goes, oh, I don't have an MOT. I better go and get one. It's only been out about 3 years. And he's standing talking to two traffic cops, right? And I'm like, what kind of car you got? And he's like, you're not fucking catching me with that one.
Oh, dear. It's just.
He's like, it doesn't matter. It's not endorsable. Who cares? You know?
Oh, the other fun one was when we got into the jury when we were deliberating.
Mm-hmm.
We were sat there around the table, and I thought to myself, and we had to decide on a foreman. And nobody was, and I just thought, screw it, and I put my hand up because I just thought, I'm not sitting here for 2 hours trying to figure out who a bloody foreman is. We'll be here all day. So I took on the role of foreman, and then from there it was just then organizational skills. And I just said to them, right, okay, let's go around the table. Every single one of you will say whether you think they're guilty or innocent, and explain your decision. And then we'll count out how many innocents and guilties we've got, and see where we go from there. And we went around the table a few times, and I think we'd probably reached our verdict within a few hours, because
were there people saying not guilty?
There was a few of them, but I think they were kind of taking.
Was it an obvious guilty? Was there any dubiety in this case?
Well, the only. There was, I think there was a sympathy vote.
No, that's completely different, right? Was there any dubiety over the guilt or innocence of this person?
I don't think so.
Right. So the people that were saying not guilty were saying it because of mitigating circumstances, which is not your fucking role. That's up to the sheriff, right?
Well,
or the judge, right?
Well, that was what we had explained to us, because there was a few times where we had to send questions to the judge.
Yeah.
On points of like what the legal situation is. Is this a particular decision that we can make? Is this an effect? Is this something that impacts the overall trial legally?
Yeah.
But to be perfectly honest, my whole thing was just to not have to run this jury into a second day. I didn't want to have to sit there for hours and hours and hours.
Right. I think we've lost the audience, mate. We're down to 11. So
right.
Obviously our talk about jury duties obviously driven them off. But we had some good
guys.
Hey, we had some great views earlier on, so you probably put them all to sleep. But not. I know.
Well, that's fine. That I mean, I don't mind being the sleep cast.
Yeah, it's been great, and it's been good to see some extra new names on the
awesome.
in the chat. Yeah, cool,
Definitely.
cool. Hey, what was I going to say? Remember, like, share, subscribe. If you ever want to support us, down at Ko-fi.com/ChasingDissent. If you actually made a donation if you make a donation during the actual presentation, it will be read out in a suitably robotic voice. If you put a message in. Sorry. There's only 11 people here. Who cares? Or there's only 6 now because they know we're leaving. There we go. Right. Fucking six people. Well, I'm going to play it anyway. I'm still going to play the outro. Because I like it.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you. It's been great. Oh, DW, nice to see you. You kept that quiet tonight. Anyway, it's been great. For you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah,
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get on safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay.
graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop up. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo.
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe.
So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost.